defeat laziness and transform your life. 3 seconds. That's how close Noah Sterling came to throwing away the opportunity that would change his entire life. His finger hovered above the delete button. One email, one chance, one decision. The message had arrived only 30 seconds earlier. We would like to invite you to an interview. Most people would have celebrated. Noah almost deleted it because he was terrified. Terrified of failing. Terrified of being rejected. Terrified of proving that all his dreams were impossible. The strange part? Nobody around him knew. Everyone simply called him lazy. His family called him lazy. His friends called him lazy. Even Noah called himself lazy. But they were all wrong. What was destroying his life wasn't laziness. It was something far more dangerous. And before this story ends, Noah will discover a secret that transforms him from a man who can't finish anything into someone whose life becomes an inspiration to millions. But first, he has to lose everything. At 29 years old, Noah lived alone in a tiny apartment. His room looked like a museum of unfinished dreams. A guitar covered in dust. Business books half read. Online courses only 10% completed. Notebooks filled with plans that never became reality. Every object told the same story. Started, never finished. Every morning, Noah promised himself that today would be different. He would wake up early, exercise, work on his goals, change his life. But every morning ended the same way. 5 more minutes, then 10, then 30. Hours disappeared. Days disappeared. Months disappeared. Years disappeared. One evening, Noah opened an old notebook. Inside, he found goals he had written 6 years earlier. Learn a new skill. Start a business. Get fit. Travel. Build financial freedom. He stared at the list. Almost nothing had changed. 6 years. Gone. A chill ran through his body. For the first time, he felt genuine fear. Not fear of failure. Fear of wasting his entire life. That night, Noah couldn't sleep. At 2:17 a.m., he sat by the window watching the empty streets. A question repeated in his mind. What if this is my future forever? The thought terrified him. He imagined himself 10 years older. Same apartment, same excuses, same unfinished dreams. The image felt like a nightmare. Suddenly his phone buzzed. A message from his younger sister. Simple words. Are you happy? Noah stared at the screen. He couldn't answer. Because for the first time, he realized the truth. He wasn't happy. He wasn't even living. He was waiting. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for the perfect moment. A moment that never came. That realization hit harder than any insult ever could, and it became the first crack in the prison he had built around himself. The next morning, something unusual happened. The power went out across the neighborhood. No internet, no television, no distractions. At first, Noah was annoyed. Then he became restless, then bored, then uncomfortable. For hours, he sat alone with his thoughts. And for the first time in years, he noticed something shocking. His biggest addiction wasn't social media. It wasn't television. It wasn't games. It was escape. Every time life felt difficult, he escaped. Every time he felt uncertain, he escaped. Every time fear appeared, he escaped. Laziness wasn't the disease. Avoidance was. The realization hit like lightning. Noah suddenly understood why motivation never lasted. Because motivation couldn't defeat avoidance. Only action could. That afternoon, he made a strange decision. Instead of setting huge goals, he chose one tiny challenge. One push-up. Just one. It sounded ridiculous. But he did it. Then he stood up and smiled. For the first time in months, he had kept a promise to himself. The next day, he did 2. Then 5. then 10. Within weeks, he had built a simple exercise habit. The transformation wasn't physical. Not yet. The transformation was mental. Every completed action whispered the same message. You can trust yourself. That message changed everything, because confidence is not built by thinking. It is built by evidence. And Noah was finally creating evidence. 3 months later, his life looked different. Not perfect, different. He woke up earlier, worked consistently, read every day, exercised regularly, small actions, repeated daily. But then something unexpected happened. His company announced layoffs. Hundreds of employees would lose their jobs. Fear spread everywhere. People panicked. Noah panicked too. But this time, something was different. Instead of hiding from fear, he moved toward it. He volunteered for extra responsibilities, learned new skills, took on projects others avoided. Weeks later, the layoffs arrived. Many employees were let go. Noah wasn't one of them. In fact, he received a promotion. The same fear that once controlled him had become fuel, and that promotion changed his financial future. But an even bigger challenge was approaching. One evening, Noah attended a conference. The speaker asked a simple question. If your future depended on one decision, would you be ready? The audience laughed. Noah didn't, because deep down he knew he wasn't ready. The speaker continued. Success is rarely one giant moment. It is thousands of invisible decisions nobody sees. The words struck him. For years he had waited for one magical breakthrough. Now he understood. Breakthroughs are built, not found. That night he returned home inspired. But inspiration alone wasn't enough. Within days his motivation faded. Old habits tried to return. The bed felt comfortable. The excuses sounded reasonable. The shortcuts looked tempting. Noah found himself standing at a crossroads. One path led back to his old life. The other required discipline. Every single day. No audience, no applause, no guarantees. And that's when he made the most important decision of his life. He chose consistency over emotion. Months turned into a year. The changes became impossible to ignore. His health improved. His income increased. His confidence grew. Friends began asking for advice. Co-workers noticed his discipline. Family members expressed surprise. But nobody saw the hardest battles. The battles inside his mind. Every day, laziness still whispered. Every day, fear still appeared. The difference was that Noah no longer obeyed them. He had discovered a secret. You do not become successful when fear disappears. You become successful when fear stops making your decisions. That lesson transformed every area of his life. Then came the email, the same email from the beginning of this story. An invitation to interview for a leadership position, a dream opportunity, a chance to double his income, a chance to impact thousands of people, a chance to step into the life he once believed was impossible. But the old fear returned instantly. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if everyone discovers I'm a fraud? For a moment, Noah nearly deleted the email. 3 seconds. That's all it took. 3 seconds standing between his old life and his future. Then he remembered something. The man who started with one push-up. The man who once couldn't keep a promise to himself. The man who transformed through tiny actions. That man would never know the outcome if he quit before trying. So Noah took a deep breath and replied, "Yes, I'd love to attend." The interview was difficult. Very difficult. He wasn't perfect. He stumbled, made mistakes, forgot an answer. But he stayed calm. He stayed present. Most importantly, he showed up. A week later, another email arrived. His hands trembled as he opened it. "Congratulations. The position is yours." Noah stared at the screen. Tears filled his eyes. Not because of the job, not because of the money, but because he finally understood something. The greatest victory wasn't getting hired. The greatest victory was becoming the kind of person who no longer ran away from life. 5 years later, Noah stood on a stage before thousands of people. Someone asked him a question. How did you defeat laziness? Noah smiled. Then he answered, I didn't. The audience looked confused. He continued, I defeated the fear hiding behind it. Silence filled the room. Then he added the lesson that changed his life. Laziness often isn't the real enemy. Fear is. Start before you're ready. Act before you feel confident. Take one small step today, then another tomorrow. Your future is built by the actions you repeat, not the dreams you imagine. The audience stood and applauded. But Noah's thoughts traveled back to the tiny apartment. The unfinished dreams, the wasted years, the lonely nights, and the moment everything changed. One push-up, one action, one decision. Because transformation doesn't begin when life becomes easy. Transformation begins the moment you stop waiting and start moving. And that moment can happen today.